Sorry about that video. I had a call coming in, so my video cut off. But I was saying that, a lot of times with codependence, we could be really busy trying to fix other people's lives and to help them, when in reality, what we're doing is we are distracting ourselves with other people's problems so that we do not have to look inward. So we do not have to address our own stuff. So we do not have to do the work on ourselves, right? So it's like, oh, let me fix everyone else, external, 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 when what we really need to do is come inside, get internal, seek whatever spiritual path we're on, seek some spiritual solutions, seek some practical solutions. I found a lot of those in the context of 12-step recovery. I go to Codependence Anonymous. I found it very helpful. It can be a little weird when you first go and a little bit awkward. So I do encourage you to, what they say in there is give it 6 tries, give it 6 different meetings before you make a decision about whether this meeting or this program is correct for you. Or if you grew up in a family with active addiction or dysfunction or narcissism, there is a program called Adult Children of Alcoholics and Dysfunctional Families. That's another 12-step program that I found very helpful. If you don't want to go to a program, there are many books you can read. There is I've been reading Melody Beattie's The New Codependency. I'm finding it extraordinary. Pete Walker's book on healing complex PTSD, I think, is just exceptional. There's quite a few good books out there. Whole Again by Jackson McKenzie. I really appreciated that one when I was in the early throes of trying to heal from the narcissistic abuse. So, I guess my message to you today is that if you got out of this relationship and you are now getting some time to self-reflect and to look inward and to figure out what maybe your part was in contributing to the dysfunction, and you can start healing that part. I think a lot of it, from what I've read, it has so much to do with your childhood trauma. If you suffered as a child, if you either had a narcissistic parent or a addicted parent or a borderline parent, or you just had a toxic parent of whatever sort, you're going to be more likely to be attracted to people that are more toxic. If you had child abuse, if you were abused, if you were neglected, if you were physically, psychologically, emotionally, or sexually abused as a child, you are carrying that trauma. Your body, your brain, your nervous system, your hippocampus, all of that, it doesn't recognize like when you get triggered now in real time, and it's triggering that 5-year-old girl or that 6-year-old boy that was traumatized, like your brain and body and nervous system, it doesn't recognize that this isn't happening again. So you really have to do, a lot of work around that. I found EMDR very helpful to be able to recognize that, hey, oh, wow, in real time, I'm being triggered right now. And really what that's triggering is that little girl that was abandoned, that was emotionally abandoned or neglected or abused. And my body, my brain, my nervous system, all of it, it's like, it doesn't get it. So I have to train it. I have to say to myself, I'm being triggered right now. I'm being triggered. I'm in an emotional flashback. And I try to bring it back from my hijacked amygdala that has been hijacked and is going crazy, and my fight and flight, freeze, fawn, system is kicking in, and I'm on hyper alert, I'm hyper vigilant, and I have to bring it from here and bring it back into here so that my brain can fully recognize that, hey, I'm safe right now. I'm okay. I am not that little 5-year-old girl that has been abandoned. I'm not that little 5-year-old girl that was being abused or neglected. I'm going to be okay. And you can do a lot of work. You can do tapping. I mean, I've made some videos on tapping. I'll make some more, and I'll bring in some more resources. But, tapping, you can do deep breathing. Yoga, meditation. You can look in the mirror and start telling yourself some really positive things instead of all that negative garbage that you have going on in your head. You can do EMDR therapy. You can do TMS, that's transcranial magnetic stimulation. You can do trauma work. You can do breath work. I mean, there are so many therapeutic modalities that you can do to start regulating your nervous system and start getting control of your hijacked amygdala and your hijacked hypervigilant nervous system, and start calming yourself down. I mean, I do that a lot when I'm exercising, when I'm running, or I'm climbing, or I'm surfing, or whatever I'm doing. I haven't surfed in a long time, but when I'm doing stuff like that, or just go jump in the ocean. I'm lucky I live near the ocean, but find a trail, there's any kind of exercise you can do is hugely therapeutic. And I also at one point did a little bit of somatic body work, where I worked with a somatic coach, and basically, he had me take like a baseball bat, not a real one, but sort of a light, well, it was kind of it was a like medium baseball bat. I can't remember exactly what it looked like, but, and I banged on a cube and just like got out so much of that, that anxiety, that built up frustration, that stuff that was my body was holding. I really believe in the mind, body, spirit connection. I really believe that our bodies are we store trauma in our bodies, and I've done a lot of work the last 3 years to try to, well, even the last 6 years, to try to sort of get some of that stuff out of my body and to regulate my nervous system. And the thing is too is, and I know you've heard this before, but hurt people hurt. And so I recognize that I believe that some of these cluster Bs are probably the most wounded people on the planet. I mean, I know that we tend to want to demonize them, and I definitely have gone through that phase. And I'm sure if you watch some of my earlier videos, you will definitely see that. I had a lot of anger. But the anger, on one hand was actually quite helpful in my case, because I needed the anger to take action. I needed the anger to get out of a toxic situation. I needed the anger to get away and to break the trauma bond. But if you feed the anger and you nurture it and you water it and you let it grow under the sunlight, then, that's a case where you really are choosing fear over love, because quite frankly, anger is just that. I call it like the threshold emotion. It's like there's anger, but what's really behind the anger? And, a lot of times it's fear, it's pain, it's hurt. It's really, anger is just that real tertiary emotion. So this is something I've done in a couple of videos, and I'll do this real quick, but I don't know if you've heard of RAIN, but this is a way to recognize when you are in that state of like anger, you're triggered, your brain's racing, you're perseverating, you're in this really hyper-vigilant state. You can do this thing called RAIN, which is R is recognize. Okay, I'm angry right now. I'm triggered. I am angry. I'm just going ape shit in my head. Acknowledge that feeling. I am angry. I'm feeling really, really angry. And I acknowledge that I'm triggered and I'm in a state of anger. And then I investigate. Well, is it really anger? And then my therapist has me, I put my hand on my chest and she's like, feel what's happening in your body. And when I do, I'm usually like, oh, wow, it's not anger. It's grief. It's like this deep grief, this pain that's in my soul, that's in my heart. Oh, that really hurts. And you can investigate, or it could be fear. I'm fear of losing something that I think I deserve. I'm afraid, I'm in fear of not getting something that I want. I'm in fear. I'm in fear of abandonment. I'm in fear that I'm not good enough, or I'm not worthy, or I'm not lovable. Like these are all some of the, BS things that we can tell ourselves. So, investigate. And then in is nurture. Okay, I'm going to nurture myself. What am I going to do? Deep breaths. I'm going to go to a yoga class. I'm going to Google my friend Bria Rose, who teaches beautiful yoga, and I'm going to watch one of her yoga classes online, and I'm just going to do that. Or I'm going to go and I'm going to do a meditation for anger. There's meditations for anger. Or I'm going to go jump in the ocean, or I'm going to go for a walk, or I'm going to go I find water very therapeutic. And if, even if you don't have the ocean, I take showers or baths. I take baths, my baths are like therapy. I'm in the process of buying a house, and I'm we have a hot tub. So I'm so excited about that, because it's like, I'm going to go sit in my cozy little hot tub. So there's like things you can do to nurture your soul. Prayer. And sometimes my prayers are this simple. I just go, a little help, God. I need a little help here. You know, it doesn't need to be some candle lighting, robe wearing ceremony. It can just be like, I need a little help here, God. And that really helps me a lot to be able to nurture my soul and to get back into a state of homeostasis. Because, you know, when your amygdala has been hijacked and you're triggered and you're angry and you're enraged, or you're just feeling all of these, you know, negative emotions, like your nervous system is going crazy and you're not in the state of peace and homeostasis. So it's your job to be ultra vigilant and to be really aware when you are triggered. And we've talked about this in other videos, but you know, I took a big whiteboard and I wrote down all my triggers. Okay, driving down my street where I used to live, that was a trigger. Getting an email from the divorce attorney, that was a trigger. Getting, you know, a call from one of his flying monkeys, that was a trigger. And I wrote them down, and at a very basic level, in the very beginning of this process, you can just avoid the triggers. That's why no contact is so important. And I understand if you are divorcing a cluster B, that no contact can be a profoundly difficult thing to do. You maybe can't even do it. I did it in the form, I did it in a very expensive way, which was just to have my attorney do all the communication for me. But I recognize, you know, it was a very big price to pay financially. But, you know, you can do things to, you know, gray rock is one thing you can do if you are co-parenting, or if you're trying to, you know, somehow you have to communicate with the narcissist. That may be a way. So thanks so much, you guys. And I will make more videos later. Have a good day. Bye.